Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to customize my new 3ds XL case. As you could see, this case that came with my used new 3ds XL was actually a farm sim case. And although I don't mind tractors, it is not my preferred design to put my gaming console in, so I decided I'm just gonna customize it. As you may have noticed, I already applied the coat of gesso off camera. I did this a while ago because I wanted to customize this a while ago and I didn't think I would film it, but since I now had an idea for a design and I thought it would be nice to make a video out of it, I did. So I applied like a base coat of this sky blue, and I actually applied 3 layers so they would cover most of it. You can still kind of see the tractor through, but only under like the specific light of the camera. In person you cannot really see it at all. And then all I did was just use a pencil and lightly sketch the design onto it that I want. I had a hard time deciding which way I wanted to go with this. I had so many options. I almost went the classic route, which I always choose, which would be Zelda themed, you know. Drew Wolf Link, drew some other Zelda things for like certain customizing things for my consoles, but I decided I kind of want to go Mario this time. And one of my favorite creatures, or foes I guess, in Mario are these plants, the piranha plants. So I decided to paint one of those, and because it was a bit empty, I also wanted to add my favorite item, which is the leaf. I love the tanuki leaf. It is very helpful to have the flying ability, and I think the leaf looks very adorable. The colors I'm using on top will be model paint colors. I'm using the Vallejo brand, and this is just because they are quite opaque and they blend quite nicely, but they also dry quickly, so I can layer them up nicely, and they don't leave as much texture behind since they dry pretty flat, since you don't need much paint to get the opacity. I didn't want to have to paint like 4 or 5 layers with like trying to blend so you don't have to like see the layer lines, and I wouldn't have the problem to like blend things multiple times. This is just way easier. In some areas and with some paints I did definitely need 2 coats, like with this green. You can definitely see that it's a bit see-through, but it's definitely way quicker with just 2 layers, having a base layer and then a blending layer, than it is to use other acrylics and have to add like 3 to 4 layers to make the lines and all that not visible that you want to cover up. And from here on, all I did was a very simple going back and forth drawing process with some matching colors and some highlights just to blend it in. I am probably going to outline this. I like the look of these kinds of paintings when they're not outlined, but I think then you need a background that kind of matches the art style that you used. Since I only have like a very plain blue background, I decided I'm probably going to use an acrylic paint pen and just outline the design a little bit just to make it pop out a bit more. It took me a while to figure out which expression I want the piranha plant to have, and in the end I decided I want to try to make it look like it's smiling a little bit, you know, the vicious way. And of course I did the sideways piranha plant. The classic ones do only look up out of the pipes, but I really like the look of the like sideways piranha plants they added. It's definitely a way more like dynamic pose, and I think for like especially artworks and stuff, if they're the main focus, it works out pretty well. I think I managed to make it look like it's smiling pretty well. You know, maybe it's happy because it finally gets the chance to also try out the tanuki leaf and you know, get some cute tanuki ears and maybe a tanuki tail and the ability to fly away. Although I doubt it can't fly because I think they are rooted inside of the pipes they're stuck in, but maybe it can fly with the pipe. Maybe it's loose on the ground.
Maybe it's loose on the ground.
For the outline, I chose this hard nib paint pen with a plastic nib because it just has the nicest color and the nicest line work stability, I guess, of all the paint pens I own. The only downside to this one is that, as you can see, especially when I'm filming this, that there's a lot of texture from the paints, especially from the blue base coat of paint. And that makes the nib sometimes really get caught up in that. And it makes it so it like splatters some paint, which also meant that I had to like thicken the lines in some areas, and it also meant that you couldn't sometimes actually draw very straight, which also meant that I had to add some thicker lines in some areas. Overall, I would have preferred a thinner line style, but I think it works out well regardless, even though I had to, you know, even out and thicken up some of the lines. And I think the line work definitely makes the design pop, it makes the edges cleaner and all that, and it adds just a little bit of, you know, more dimension to this artwork. And then, of course, I also had to varnish it, since this would be a thing that would be used quite often, thrown in pockets and all that. And I wanted to protect the paint layer I added from chipping. So first of all, I cleaned up the edges with just some black paint. A little bit of the blue will still show through, but it doesn't matter as much as long as like the bulk of it is covered up. I went actually also over this one with like 2 to 3 layers. It took a while to cover this up, and that's just because this is fabric and the paint basically like blocked the other paint from soaking into the fabric. Before I actually applied this layer of gloss varnish, which is actually just there to protect it from scratches altogether, because gloss varnish is quite sturdy and quite protective, I actually added a layer of fixative, a very thick layer, just to make sure that the black lines from the paint pen don't bleed out. Paint pens tend to bleed out with varnish quite a lot, but like a couple layers of fixative or like a really thick layer of fixative usually helps out pretty well. And then all I needed to do was add another coat of varnish, and this time I chose matte varnish because that is a bit less sticky from experience, and if you have it in a pocket, you know, the varnish might stick to stuff that is like slick plastic or something. And just to prevent that, I dabbed it on with a sponge and made sure to like really rub it in and like texture it a little bit. And once it dries, it had a nice matte finish which was not sticky at all. Honestly, I am super happy with this design and the final result. I think it turned out super adorably, and it's definitely a design that I really like to keep on this. The good thing about customizing these kinds of things is that you can re-customize them whenever you don't like the design, but I honestly think this is here to stay. And it covers up the tractor nicely. You can still see a bit of the outline, but it looks more like there's some shading in the sky with like some clouds or anything. And with that, I'm super happy. And honestly, doesn't the piranha plant just look adorable with his cute little smile and the sharp teeth? Definitely looks like a nice plant. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my design and which design or game would you have chosen, and maybe even if you owned a 3DS, which game or game series is your favorite of the 3DS. I know there's a lot of different. My personal one, of course, is the Zelda series, you know, the remakes of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. They're just awesome. But of course, there's so many more game series for the 3DS that came out. But anyways, I hope I inspired you to maybe customize a case for yourself if you have a case. I think it's really nice to just have a case that you like the design of. I think it's something I like to pull out more and, you know, use my 3DS with more. I originally actually got this 3DS for, you know, streaming, since the new 3DS are the ones you can modify to actually work and like streamcast the games you're playing. I still have my original 3DS and I'm very often using this and playing with it. This one is really just an addition that I got for streaming, and I had to replace the joystick and all that, which wasn't actually too difficult. I mainly got a used one for a really good deal, which I'm super happy about, and I'm also happy to see that it worked pretty well with streaming and all that so far. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye!